Hello, and thanks for tuning in again to Laura Ingraham Reports. Right now, as Attorney General Pam Bondi faces intense scrutiny up on Capitol Hill, her Justice Department, pushed by Donald Trump and his delicate sense of self, is crafting another pointless, foolish legal action. And let me tell you, this latest development is one you really have to hear about. It's just so typical. If we think back to the recent Super Bowl, do you remember that shocking incident with Janet Jackson's outfit mishap? You can picture it right there. It left everyone stunned. Lawsuits flew everywhere. Chaos erupted. I even felt like I needed some counseling. It was that overwhelming for so many. Yet somehow Donald Trump never seems excessive to his supporters, as he rushes to file suits whenever his pride takes a hit, just like in this situation. This particular claim has no real foundation at all, Laura. It's simply the newest in a string of payback moves that Donald Trump has attempted, and they've all fallen flat. Because Trump always claims that, sure, they're all at fault and should face consequences. I see them as really awful and untrustworthy individuals. I believe they're as corrupt as can be, and perhaps they ought to face repercussions for it. People like Tish James and Jim Comey, those suits got thrown out by the courts through the Democracy Defenders Fund. And while Pam Bondi deals with her own grilling, her Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche ends up looking foolish in front of George Stephanopoulos, insisting that, no, we're not misusing the DOJ at all. That's what the others are doing, isn't it, Todd? I believe they're as corrupt as can be. They pursued this after experienced lawyers declined to file charges, and both matters were dropped. I mean, I'm not sure what pursuing people even implies. Look, if you serve as a prosecutor in the Justice Department, your role is to carry out this administration's key goals. I believe they're as corrupt as can be. And sticking to the pattern of Trump's sensitivity and ridiculous legal filings, here's Arizona Senator Mark Kelly, fresh from defeating Trump in a courtroom battle, pointing out the actual facts about him. This isn't a positive update. It's an account of how Donald Trump and his allies are attempting to undermine our institutions to quiet anyone who rightfully criticizes them, and to warn every citizen that they'd better hesitate before voicing opinions, or they could be targeted next. But if you plan to serve here, you'll advance the president's main objectives. That's our focus. And indeed, some rulings have dismissed cases, but they're being appealed. I believe they're as corrupt as can be. That doesn't prove the claims are invalid. In fact, Todd, it does show they're flawed. And in this fresh report, we've got an incredible, you're completely mistaken kind of suit from the Trump side. You have to see it to believe it. And naturally, it ties into the halftime performance with Bad Bunny, since groups like Turning Point USA and MAGA are furious that the NFL allowed performers of diverse backgrounds on stage in this country. How dare they? It's seen as so against our values and disloyal. Take a look at this ridiculous news story. Find some help for that. The MSNBC panel dismisses a Republican plan to probe Bad Bunny with chuckles. A suggestion from House Republicans to examine the entertainment during the halftime of the just-finished Super Bowl sparked amusement and disbelief on MSNBC's Morning Joe that Wednesday. In an interview the day before on Real America's Voice, Missouri Republican Representative Mark Alford stated that House Republicans are looking into Bad Bunny's Super Bowl appearance because they think it was far more offensive than Janet Jackson's clothing slip-up. I watched the halftime, flipping between that and the Turning Point USA version. The words we've reviewed from Bad Bunny are quite troubling, he maintained, noting how Republicans are capitalizing on right-wing frustration over the show being in Spanish. The Morning Joe team implied that the conservative backlash was racially motivated and just for show. They also said Republicans should face facts. Missouri Congressman Mark Alford mentioned to a conservative network yesterday that House Republicans are already digging in. Co-host Willie Geist shared, then quipped, "The Bad Bunny halftime didn't offer specifics. No formal announcement has come yet about any official inquiry from Congress." As you're aware, Mika, their voters elected them to handle vital matters like scrutinizing Bad Bunny. While the group burst into laughter, co-host Mika Brzezinski mockingly asked, "I'm just wondering, because the other option, was it Kid Rock? That's the guy, right? Kid Rock? He's still around, isn't he? So he's their choice for the alternate event, correct? And are they checking his song words about, well, I recall he had lines in his tracks. Not that he sang them there, but the artist they picked for their side gathering has composed tunes about, stuff you might find in the Epstein documents. References to young females and legal violations like, seriously? I pity them." Panelist Mike Barnicle chimed in, "They should seek some counseling." Brzezinski responded, "They've never stepped outside in this nation. Barnacle added with a laugh. And they need to accept that it's not only fair-haired white folks who deserve the spotlight at a Super Bowl halftime, Brzezinski went on, poking fun at extreme conservative commentator Megyn Kelly, who lost her cool over the act. It's meant to bring people together, and you need an inclusive attitude and appreciation for everyone to truly take in something so vibrant and lively. It's rather pitiful how narrow, basic, foolish, outdated, and utterly worn out this kind of opposing view is, suggesting that this halftime somehow offended. Absolutely. Straight from the White House, they aim to use even more public funds to determine if the NFL's halftime broke any rules tied to a clothing error. I truly believe the remark from Ms. B on Morning Joe about getting some counseling hits the mark without going overboard. But this reflects exactly who Donald Trump is. The individual who could access our nation's defense systems might impulsively target places like Venezuela while directing his Justice Department to pursue a case against an NFL halftime artist. Meanwhile, the performer at the Turning Point USA event, Kid Rock, could use a review of his own words that discuss inappropriate ties with minors and suggest it's fine. This is basic double standards, everyone, and it's squandering our resources. If you enjoyed this, give it a thumbs up, spread it around, and keep your cool.